Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call the full committee of Ways and Means to order. It is Thursday, February 20th, 2020, about 3:16 p.m. First, I would like to ask the committee to entertain a motion to amend our agenda to add the just passed House Bill 949, which is LC 431566ER, the IRC update, to our full committee agenda. Is there a motion? Is there a second? I had a motion by Representative Corbett and second by Representative Watson. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, our agenda stands amended, and we will go ahead since our Representative Carson is prepared to present a bill, House Bill 941. Again, it's LC 431566ER, the IRC update. Any additional comment, Representative Carson? Did I call the wrong number? 949.
Am I on now?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
House Bill 949, same LC number. Annual IRC update, just marrying this Georgia code as much as possible to the federal code.
Any members of the committee have any further questions of Representative Carson on this measure? Hearing none, is there a motion with regard to House Bill 949? I have a motion by Representative Stevens, a second by Representative Watson. All those in favor of moving the IRC update to rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to get you, Casey.
All right, going on to our regular agenda, I'm going to call our first bill, I'm going to call House Bill 378, which is LC 431541S, and this measure is authored by Representative Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This is House Bill 378 LC 43129-3S by committee. It's offered as committee substitute. It's been vetted by the income tax subcommittee. Did I get that wrong? I'm sorry. Give me the LC number again. I gave you the wrong LC number. I'm sorry, LC 431541S. This is the peer-to-peer facilitator legislation the Income Tax Subcommittee's passed out unanimously, actually 3 times. Once last year, came to full committee with some concerns that members of the community didn't have enough time to study it and look at it. Went back to the Income Tax Subcommittee, took more testimony, came back out again last year unanimously, and that process was repeated again this year. I'd be happy to answer any questions the members of the full committee might have on the matter. But in essence, it allows our recently passed facilitator bill that was signed by the governor picks up sales taxes on such transactions. This bill would allow the excise taxes to be paid on these rental cars in the same manner that the entire rental car industry is being taxed today.
Any member of the committee have any questions on this measure, House Bill 378? Seeing none, is there a motion with regard to House Bill 378? Motion by Representative Corbett and second by Representative Stevens. All those in favor of House Bill 378 LC 431541S, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And you are on to rules. All right. The next bill we're going to call this afternoon is House Bill 448. This is a similar measure dealing with lodging. The LC number that passed our subcommittee is LC 1539S. You have a substitute before you. And again, this is House Bill 448. And the measure before you is, I can't see that far. Is LC 1576S, LC 43-1576S. This is authored by Representative Dollar. Representative Dollar, if you'll give us an update on this measure.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, we're good. We're on. Again, this bill can be seen as an extension of marketplace facilitator, but for lodging, therefore the lodging facilitator bill, and it just streamlines the collection of hotel motel tax. For third party vendors, for STRs, think your Airbnbs, VRBOs, this kind of thing. And the second part is that it extends the $5 hotel motel tax to those types of lodging as well. Thought there is to create parity with traditional hotel motels, which are already paying the tax. The difference with this bill than the version that passed out of subcommittee was that this removes a measure in there that took it to $5 or 10%, whichever is less. After some conversations with some other folks in the building, it was thought that it was at this time it was best to pull that back and look at it a little bit more because it was kind of a last-minute add. The removal of that language does make this virtually identical to the bill that this committee passed out last year.
All right, again, this measure will, similar to facilitator, will collect those hotel motel tax and $5 fee that was contained in House Bill 170 for transportation by the facilitators that provide lodging services, in addition to the sales tax, which is collected by the underlying bill. Any questions of the author about the substitute to House Bill 448, which is LC 43-1576S? Any questions on this measure? Seeing none, is there a motion with regard to House Bill 448? I have a motion by Representative Watson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Williamson. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You are on the rules. Thank you, sir. All right, I'm going to call now House Bill 846, Representative Corbett. This is LC 43-1479, and this is a bill that deals with direct pay permits, I believe. Representative Corbett is number 4. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This is a bill we have had in this committee for a couple years. We've passed it 2 different times, passed it out of the House, unanimous vote, 167-0. And we made a few changes to it this year to make it where we think we can get it through the whole process and get it signed this time. And one of the changes we made was the prime. It was prime plus 3. We changed it just flat prime on assessments and refunds. We made a change for the department to allow affected political subdivisions to be able to pay the refund over equal installments up to the time that the overpayment occurred in the same number of months. We also clarified that interest would be calculated beginning with the date that the taxpayer filed for it instead of from the time that it actually occurred. So it doesn't start accruing interest until they actually make a claim. And then we codified the direct pay program in this legislation. That's basically what we've done. I would yield for any questions. Like I say, we've heard this bill many times before, so I would ask for everybody's favorable consideration, and if we have any questions, I'd yield for those.
And let me state, too, I may have once again misstated the LC number. This is LC 43-1568S.
Yes.
There was one minor change coming out of the committee, and that was the effective date. The changes for July 2nd.
That was a request by the department, I'm sorry, yes.
Nope, no problem. And who is number 12? Chairman Martin.
I have a question and a comment, if I may, to the author. And I should have asked this in the subcommittee the other day, just to be clear. We're starting the interest clock on for what would be owed the taxpayer should there be a net refund to the taxpayer on the date of the filing of the refund. That's what Jim said, correct?
That is correct.
There are times when a refund it usually goes with an audit, and it may identify some underpayments and overpayments. Is it your intent to make interest owed the state also start at that time?
I don't believe so. I don't think that was the intention.
The reason I ask that is you could come out with a net refund of zero, and if we're starting the interest clock at two different places, the taxpayer could owe money. And I don't think that's what we meant, Mr. Chairman. In the past, you've been pretty firm on trying to treat interest both ways. So I just didn't know. I should have asked this the other day and I failed to do so. But I understand what we're trying to do about the interest clock starting on the refund filing. And I'm just curious if the interest clock is going to be on the net amount. So if there were a net amount. So taxpayer owed us some money, we owed them some money. If that net amount is zero, even though the interest rate clock starts at different times, would it be legislative intent that would just be a zero thing, or are we trying to charge them interest when we weren't paying them interest?
Is your question if interest would be accrued on a zero amount?
No.
If for instance, if say 2 years before the refund, a taxpayer underpaid on an item $100. And 2 years and 1 day he overpaid on an item $100, then in theory we would charge the taxpayer interest from the date he underpaid for 2 years, but we would not give the taxpayer interest on the amount they overpaid until the filing of the refund. Even though we had a net refund of zero, there would be an interest charge. In the past, a direct question to you, Mr. Chairman, you have always wanted to keep the treatment of interest equal. You've been pretty firm on that. So my question is, do we wish to charge or pay interest on the net amount, or are we going to segregate the owed and the plus and the minus? What's the legislative intent? I don't want to get into one of those ambiguous areas.
I think it's the will of the industry they're good with the way the language is now, even though the interest will be starting at two different points. And could I ask? I know could I ask for some
Clarification from the department. Certainly, you may, if you don't mind, perhaps, Jonathan. Do you think you could address that? I would say too at this point, as he's coming up, let's recall testimony was that these are not small entities.
Yes.
That the department suggested there were only 200 direct pay permit holders in the entire state, and we spent significant amount of time on hypothetical one-off situations.
I'll go with whatever I was
to
just
decide.
asking for what the determination was.
Maybe Jonathan.
Yeah, I think it would be on the net.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all. Whatever it is at this late stage.
So if it's a net refund, it would be at the time the refund was filed. If it was a net assessment, you would have interest accruing the entire period from the date of the purchase.
Okay. All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, the only comment I would make is I would still prefer the state would provide the buffer between the local entities and the taxpayer in order the taxpayer didn't have to wait on the money. But I'm in the minority on that. I just wanted to verbally wish that would be that we would step in and make the taxpayer hold immediately and hold the locals harmless over a period of time. I understand I'm in the minority.
Any other member of the committee have a question for the author or comment about House Bill 846? This is LC 431568S. Seeing no other comment, is there a motion with regard to this measure? I have a motion by Representative Carson. Is there a second? Second from Representative Smith. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, let's move on now to House Bill 807. This is Representative Martin Montahan. This is LC 431575S. Your microphone should be on.
Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
807.
We've got House Bill, Members Committee, House Bill 807, which is LC number 431575. To go through the bill, I know we've had this subcommittee. Lines 21 through 23 or addressing the regulatory fees and fines that you'd see at something like a building permit, how they're being used and addressed, and how they're used by that local government to only be used for the administration of the services that the finder fee is used for. The next one's going to be the line 30 and 31, and that is limiting or allowing rather a business to use a CPA to provide an affidavit in lieu of tax returns for the reason of certifying a number of gross receipts for an occupational tax.
Members of the committee have any questions of the author on this measure? Number 27, Representative Carson.
Representative Montana, I just want to say thank you for bringing this bill. The Society of CPAs is, as I understand it, I myself plan to support your bill, and the Society of CPAs is supportive as well. What, if I'm correct, sir, what this is basically doing is verifying a number of gross receipts without disclosing the actual income of the entity. It accomplishes what the local government is in need of without too much disclosure, and I appreciate you bringing this bill forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Representative Bentley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, can you help me understand a little bit more? I'm sorry, I'm just not familiar with it, and I know
Sure.
we're in full committee, but I
Absolutely.
just need a little bit better understanding of this,
Sure thing.
especially as it relates to local governments.
Sure.
Can you kind of elaborate a little bit more, please?
Absolutely. So, talking practically, if we will, if a business were to dwell within a city that collects occupational tax based on gross receipts, right? So I think less than 20% of cities in the state of Georgia do so. Under Georgia code, they can request any and all financial information necessary to certify the number of gross receipts. Well, those financial records could be everything from P&Ls to general ledgers, spreadsheets, expense reports. It could have proprietary vendor relationship information in there. It could be, if you're an HVAC company, you could say, this is how much I pay for a 2-ton compressor. And that's not exactly what we want to be doing or disclosing. You can imagine in a very awry scenario, if a council member or somebody who had access to that information knew somebody who's a competitor to that business that dwelled within that city limit, that could be a conflict, and if that information got out as to how much they were paying or the proprietary information, you would not want that to get out.
Gotcha.
If that answers the question.
Yes, I'm just trying to think how it's going to impact my business as well, but yes, it does.
It may impact the funeral business.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other members of the committee have a question about this measure of the author or any statement? If not, we are ready to act on House Bill 807, LC 431575S. Is there a motion with... We'll say Representative Williamson with the motion, and we'll pick Carson for the second on that one. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, congratulations, sir. You are now under rules. As a reminder for those of you that have measures passing our committee today, our rules chairman has requested forms be completed on issues going to rules, and has also asked that the committee chairman sign off on those forms that are going to their committee. So once you get your forms completed, if you'll bring them by my office, if you don't have them with you today, I'll be glad to sign them for you. We're going to move on now to Senate Bill 144. This is authored by Senator Lee Anderson, and I have agreed to carry the measure in the House. This is a measure that was on the House floor last year on day 40 when the clock ran out, and so we didn't take it up. But it's the identical measure that was there last year. Basically, this is Senate Bill 144, which is LC 363935S, and this would allow a licensed dealer of tobacco to get from the Department of Revenue a special event permit for 1 day, not more than 10 days, to set up a tent, if you will, at a temporary location and sell their product. This occurs frequently with alcohol today, but it was the special event permit didn't exist for tobacco products. In full disclosure, the initial request came from a cigar dealer that wants to set up a tent and sell cigars adjacent to Augusta National during the Masters. But the bill benefits the small retailers, and you can imagine that they may do something in Centennial Park like they had last year for the NFL event, or concerts in the park in your city or community. But it would just allow for a limited special event permit for retail tobacco dealers. Be glad to answer any questions with regard to Senate Bill 144. Your button's not pushed. Let me.
Given the chairman's interest in this bill, I move due pass if it's appropriate at this time.
We'll get back with you. Number 17, is that Representative Beasley Teague?
Yes, sir. Will they be smoking these things about in the public?
So the special event permit would have to comply with any local ordinances. So if there was an area that restricted, then the permit, there would not be able to smoke in that area. So it wouldn't in any way interfere with the local ordinance, whatever that happens to be, for areas that are permitted or prohibited from consuming tobacco.
Do they smoke in Centennial Park?
I don't know who they is. And any further questions may be too personal. All right. All right. Seeing no further questions, is there a motion with regard to Senate Bill 144? I have a motion to pass from a physician, no doubt. The good Dr. Newton, and second from Representative Corbett. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? No. And I think Representative Blackman was about to walk back in. The last two measures on our agenda were measures that he authored. I'll go ahead and begin, if you don't mind, on House Bill 779. What we have before us on House Bill 779, let me make sure I've got the wrong one, or the right one. Probably do have the wrong one. Is LC 289581S. This is a substitute House Bill 779. What this bill does is simply adjusts the percentage of TAVT tax that goes to our counties, cities, and school systems. As I recall from Representative Blackman's presentation, who is the expert on TAVT matters, that this was a agreement between the various interested parties on this adjustment to the payout percentage. And now that the chairman has returned, I will recognize him to correct any misstatement I may have made. Chairman Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you stated it accurately and concisely, sir. Be happy to go into further detail if you'd like me to.
Representative Bentley has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just curious to know that ACCG or GMA have any thumbs up? Okay, great.
Any other member of the committee have a question with regard to HB 779 LC 289581S? Seeing none, is there a motion? We have a motion by Representative Smith, and a second by Representative Rutledge. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And our final measure today is going to be House Bill 715, also authored by Chairman Blackman. This is LC 470182. And Representative Blackman, I believe your microphone is on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 715 relates to occupational tax and regulatory fees. Just to give the committee just a bit of history, I think it's been 2 years ago, Chairman Powell put together an ad hoc committee that contained myself and Representative Williamson, you, Chairman Harrell, Chairman Powell, and Representative Fry. We dove into this part of the code section based on some information that had been passed along, and not to go into any greater detail, these were the three recommendations that came out of that meeting, those meetings and that committee. What we're doing with these three is, as it relates to occupational tax, we sunset the gross receipts option regarding the way locals can tax their local businesses in 2025. We do the same with a group that self-selects their occupational tax. And then the regulatory fee component actually reaffirms that all regulatory fees collected by a municipality or local government is to go to regulating that particular industry or business or arena. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to stand for questions if there are any. Again, it's been a couple of years, and we have certainly discussed this in great detail, but I'm happy to discuss further if there are questions.
Any members of the committee have questions of the author on House Bill 715? Seeing none, is there a motion with regard to House Bill 715? I have a motion by Representative Newton to do pass. Is there a second? Second by Representative Carson. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And you are also on to rules, and that concludes our agenda. Thank you all for attending. We are adjourned.